How we doing? All right, so we're almost back to Panthers hockey. I took the weekend off for making videos. Happy I did that, did my taxes, got that done out of the way. And truth is, I haven't looked at the standings. I haven't looked at the standings since we last played, so I thought about that. And I said, well, that's actually an idea for a video. I haven't looked. I know other teams have been playing. I know we're getting ready to play. But sometimes I need to unplug from hockey for 5 minutes when I get an opportunity, especially the playoffs. A lot of content, a lot of stuff coming up these next 4 months. So I took an opportunity to take a break where I could. So, and then in addition to that, in the Q&A that Stu and I did, he had actually asked the question, who from the Western Conference was I concerned about in terms of against the Panthers. But what I really want to talk about is Eastern Conference. I kind of want to talk a little bit about that. So we're going to look at the standings together. I have not even looked at these since we last played, so we could be in last place for all I know. All right, look, we're still in first place. All right, let's get it to because Stu has been saying people have some games in hand on us. So, all right, there we are. We're still in first place with 47 games played, 69 points, and things pretty much look the same, right? The top four is pretty much a guaranteed set. Although, I'm guaranteeing, I don't want to say that just yet. You got the Panthers at 69 points, the Lightning 68, Maple Leafs at 63. Now, the Maple Leafs have 2 games in hand on us and 3 games in hand against the Lightning. I don't think any of that's going to change. I don't think that top 3 is going to change. I feel pretty confident that the Panthers are going to win the division. I feel like it's almost a must, but at the same time, if the Lightning won the division, that would have us playing the Maple Leafs. It's not the end of the world either, but then you're talking about not having, probably not having home ice against the Lightning in the second round, which that's not really a good idea. Now that 4th spot, you got Boston with 46 games and 57 points, and the Red Wings with 49 games and 50 points. That's pretty much, that's almost right where the Panthers usually would find themselves before we got good, right? Is right there in that spot where we're 7 points out. It's not impossible. Maybe we can make a run and we get like 3 points out and then crash and burn. So I think the top 4 there, that's pretty much a set done deal. When you look at the difference there, Bruins with a goal differential of 5, and then the Red Wings with a goal differential of minus 27. So that's pretty much a done deal. Over in the Metro, surprise, surprise, did we find the Penguins in first place now. They won 3 in a row, 68 points. The Hurricanes, however, are only a point behind the 67 points, and they have 3 games in hand. And then the Rangers are right there with 64 points. And that 4th spot is you could maybe flip-flop. You've got the Capitals there. They've played 50 games, 61 points. Nobody is even remotely close to them. So the 8 teams, barring some spectacular collapse by Boston and something happening with the Red Wings, a miracle happening with the Red Wings, the 8 teams are pretty much set. And you're just talking about seeding. Now, before I get into who I would prefer not to play in the Eastern Conference, let me just jump over here to the West. No big surprise. There's the Avalanche with 72 points. I guess they've been playing some games. They must have been playing some games because we don't have the most points in the NHL anymore, that's for sure. So you got the Avalanche at 72. You got the Wild at 61. You got the Predators at 60. And then you got the Blues at 59. Now looking over in the Pacific, all right. So this is not as cut and dry in terms of that last wild card spot. You've got Vegas at 59 points, Flames at 58, the Kings 55, the Ducks with 55, The Oilers with 51. Do you really count them in? I guess you kind of have to count the Oilers in a little bit because you've got the Blues with 59 points. They have wild card spot number one pretty solid there, especially with only 46 games played. But then after that, you've got the Ducks with 55 points. You've got the Stars with 52. And then there's the Oilers with only 51, but they've only played 45 games. So it's not impossible that they could creep up. Although, again, it's what do we got? I mean, we got 30 games, 40 games left, 35 games left. And for the most part, there's like one playoff spot that's in doubt between the two conferences. That's less than optimal. The league can't be happy about that. That's not what they had in mind when they were thinking parity. So over back to the Eastern Conference for the Panthers. All right, so we actually have, Tampa actually has, we have a game in hand on Tampa. So we've got 1 point lead and a game in hand. And then most likely what we're looking at, if we win the division, depending on if we have the most points, it's going to be the Bruins, Capitals, Rangers. But let's talk about this a little bit. The team that scares me the most, and I don't want to use the word scare, but the Rangers with Shesterkin and Gallant. That's the matchup that, to me, and it's not impossible here that we could get them in the first round, although it's pretty unlikely because the Rangers have 47 games played, 64 points. Behind them are the Capitals with 61 points, but 50. So the Rangers have 3 games in hand. So that's most likely, that's pretty unlikely that we would play. Well, we wouldn't play them in the first round anyway. But, so yeah, it's not likely that we would play them until, obviously, the Eastern Conference Finals. So I should backtrack there a little bit. But in terms of the teams in our own division, Boston, I'm looking at them, and I've watched them play a little bit. That's a good matchup for us. Boston is a really good matchup for us. If we can win this division, home ice through the playoffs, at least through the Eastern Conference, is going to be extremely important. Boston is the team that should provide us. They should be the team that we play, and they should be the team that there should not be a problem getting past Boston in 5 games, maybe 6. I would prefer 5. And look, I know we haven't went around, but if we can't dispose of Boston in 5 or 6 games, we got bigger problems than that. If Boston can take us to 7 games, we're not going into Tampa and taking them out. So winning the division is the most important thing. And then once you get past Boston, who do you like in a Lightning Maple Leaf series? Poor Steve Dangle. Because we're going to play the winner of that series. I'm not even going to lie. As much as I would like to be the team that eliminates the Lightning, if somehow the Maple Leafs could get rid of the Lightning and our second round would be against the Leafs, I'm not going to lie. Although, Freddie's been playing pretty well. We obviously, we obviously know we can score on him, though. Either way, to be honest with you, I feel like when I look at how we're playing and I look at everything, because somebody had asked the question on that Q&A about, is the Eastern Conference Finals like the bar? And I would have to say, based on our play, if we are healthy, I'm going to be extremely disappointed if we don't get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because there's no reason we should lose to a Boston. There's no reason we should lose to Toronto. And Tampa Bay, That's the only team in our division I feel like that could possibly beat us in a 7-game series. I don't think it would happen. I think they played a lot of hockey these last few years, and I think that, you know, we're ready to take that mantle over. So there should be no reason why we don't end up the team out of the Atlantic. Now for the Metro, I have no confidence whatsoever that it won't be the Rangers. They've got the goalie and they've got the coach. And look, I mean, I'm looking at, and I know there's more to it than goals for and goals against. The Rangers' goals against is 122, and I believe well, no, the Hurricanes actually have a goals against of 109, so they're actually the least. They've actually allowed the fewest goals of the possible playoff teams that we would play. Hurricanes had our number last year. It hasn't been the case this year. I feel pretty good playing the Hurricanes. I feel great playing the Penguins. The Capitals, probably another team that I would not. I think the Capitals would give us problems. I think we could probably win that series, but it wouldn't be a cakewalk. Capitals would give us problems. I don't think the Capitals will make it out of that bracket. I believe it's going to be the Panthers and the Rangers, and because it's the Rangers and because it's Gallant, that would up my level of disappointment if we didn't beat them in the conference finals. Never underestimate the motivation of a coach who's coming back and playing against their former team, especially the way it went down. All right? If you think for a half a second, you know, you're going to get all the sound bites about how that's water under the bridge and that doesn't matter. All right? Yeah, right. No. Gallant sees it, man. Believe me, Gallant sees what's going on, and he is going to want a piece of the action there. That's the only team. That's the team that really I feel like is a little bit scary for us. Now, in terms of can they, what do they got? 47 games and 64 points. And we've got 47 games and 69 points. So it's not likely that they would end up reseeding above us on points. That's not likely to happen. That's a 5-point differential. It's not impossible. We have a lot of road games. We've got a lot of teams that are going to be gunning for us, so we can't get cocky. But that's the team. The Rangers are the team. And then if we make it out of the Eastern Conference Finals, over in the West, I want nothing to do with Colorado. I know Stu would like to see Colorado. I want Vegas. Please give me Vegas. It's just how I feel. I feel Vegas doesn't have the defense and the goaltending to put up with us. I know, you know, the Western Conference is a different style. Colorado at some point is going to make the finals, right? They've been the team for how many years now? So the issue I have with Colorado is I'm not a real big fan of let's have a rematch from '96 because it didn't go well for us. Okay? I'm not looking to avenge anything. I want to win now. I'm not worried about avenging something that happened all those years ago. But Colorado is that team that, you know, everybody like the league is talking about the Panthers now. Is this should be the team. This should be their year. This could be their year. They're built for this. Colorado's been hearing that for a little while now. Okay? And they still haven't gotten it done. So if they end up getting to the finals, you know, against us, we become less of the story because people have been expecting Colorado to be there for so long, and you know they're not likely to let that opportunity just slide by. Where a team like Vegas, the pressure's been a little bit different. They came into the league, they've been good ever since, and they haven't really experienced true losing. You see what I'm saying? So I would be much more comfortable playing Vegas. If I had to make a prediction right now, and I'm not, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat, under no circumstances am I going to predict the Panthers are going to win the Cup. That's not going to happen. If I had to predict right now, I would think we'd be looking at a Colorado Rangers Cup Finals with Colorado winning it all. That's not what I want to happen, but for those of you who have been watching this channel long enough, you know damn well why I'm not predicting the Panthers to win the Cup. So just for anybody new that's watching it, just trust me. You don't want me predicting them to win anything. Okay? So that was it. I just wanted to make this short and sweet. I hadn't looked at the standings, and Stu had been talking about some teams having games in hand on us. I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable. Now, I mean, Carolina, what do we got? We got 47 games played. The Hurricanes got 1 game in hand on us. We're good. We're good that way. I feel good. I like the position we're in. Let's win the division. Let's have home ice throughout the playoffs. Catch a break. Really could catch a break if the standings stay the way they are now. If we could go through Boston and somehow Toronto, you know, if the Lightning just get to the playoffs and they're like, oh, we're done, we're exhausted, and Toronto can somehow get through them, I'd much rather have the matchup against Toronto. Now, I'm not saying Toronto are pushovers, but if a Panthers Lightning series, the winner of that is going to be limping into the next series, okay? It's not about me thinking Toronto are pushovers. It's just the style of play. Toronto's not going to be coming in there trying to beat the crap out of us the way Tampa will. So that would be an extra bonus, and you know, that may have something to do with whether or not we're going to get through the Rangers. The Rangers are a tough draw for us. I have to be honest about that. They've got the goaltending. They've got the experienced coaching. They've got that side motivation, right? So that's my thoughts right now. Right now, if I was putting money on it, which I'm not, I would predict the Colorado win over the Rangers. And that's that. Appreciate everybody's support. I know we got games coming back up here. I guess Wednesday we start playing hockey again. So I'll be back tomorrow with something, and then things are as normal for right now. The hour live stream before the game, the recapping, and the reviews with Stu afterwards. Coming up here within the next week or two at the latest, there will be some different content, NHL content, and that's probably going to be coming out in the mornings if I can manage to get my ass out of the bed. It's too cold right now. It needs to warm up a little bit. All right, guys, I appreciate all the support. I'll see you tomorrow.